Before Thanksgiving, Dad left a voicemail. "We cut you off, don't come." I simply replied, "I appreciate." That night, I quietly removed myself from their joint business account. Within 36 hours, 84 missed calls. By midnight, their laughter turned to desperate voicemails begging me to fix everything. Dad's voice came through like a cold business memo. "Pamela, your mother and I talked. We think it's best if you don't come this year. It's too tense. We've decided to cut you off from the holiday. Please respect our decision. No, we love you. No, we hope you're okay. Just cut off." Like I was a bad deal they finally decided to cancel. I stared at my phone, groceries still in hand. The turkey breast in my bag thawing out faster than the warmth in my heart. My thumb hovered over the screen. I didn't even think twice. I just typed back, "I appreciate." That was it, no begging. No, what did I do wrong? Because deep down, I already knew. 2 weeks earlier, I finally stopped pretending everything was okay. I stopped nodding politely when Mom mocked my job like it was some silly hobby. I reminded her that while she enjoyed a mortgage-free home, it was me keeping their floundering family business alive. And the last dinner we had, when Dad made that stupid joke in front of everyone about how I was too opinionated to keep a man. I didn't laugh. I looked right at him and said, "You act like you've done me a favor just by tolerating me. Truth is, I've been cleaning up your messes for years." That wasn't tension. That was truth. But apparently, truth was too much for them. So they cut me off from Thanksgiving, like grounding a child. Like this was still some power game. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat down at my kitchen table, opened my laptop, and logged into our business systems. Their business. My labor. Payroll, bookkeeping, inventory systems, tax software. Everything they never understood but always benefited from. I rebuilt it all when the IRS nearly came knocking 2 years ago. I was the reason they weren't bankrupt. I was the reason the shop still functioned. That night, I removed my name from every single account. I downloaded the files, backed them up, sent them one neat folder with everything they'd need to run things without me. No note, no explanation, just silence. 36 hours passed. Nothing, and then the phone calls started. 84 missed calls. By midnight the second day, my voicemail was full. It started as confusion. "Pam, we can't get into the payroll dashboard. Can you call us?" Then panic. "The taxes are due this week. You're really blowing this out of proportion." Then desperation. "Pamela, please, the system's locked. We need you to fix this. You're the only one who knows how it works." Still no apology. They wanted space. I gave it to them. They wanted a Thanksgiving without me. I gave them a life without me. It was the most peaceful Thanksgiving I'd had in years. I roasted a chicken, drank a glass of wine, watched old movies, and fell asleep with my phone on Do Not Disturb. The next morning, 29 missed calls. The card reader at the shop had stopped syncing. Their big Black Friday sale, wrecked. The inventory system needed a manual sync, something I used to do quietly every Friday. Suddenly, the overkill system I built was too complicated for them. Mom's voicemail that morning, tight voice, probably been crying. "We know you're mad, maybe you should be, but we need you to help us fix this. You know we're not good with tech, you're the only one who understands it." Then came the line I'll never forget. "We didn't mean to cut you off, we just needed some space." Oh, so now it was just space. Now that the sales were tanking and the payroll system was locked. Now it wasn't a cutoff, it was a pause. But when they left that voicemail, it wasn't space. It was control, a slap in the face disguised as politeness, and I wasn't playing anymore. Wednesday came with even more missed calls. A blocked number left a voicemail. "Pamela, the checks bounced. The system says we're locked out. We have employees calling. Please, we're begging you now." Still no apology, just panic wrapped in fake humility. I deleted every message without listening to the end, and that's when my brother called. He lives with them, married, has a baby, always tried to stay neutral. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. "They're planning to sell the car." My car. The one I paid for in full earlier this year. Bought it from them in February, wired the money, paid for the registration and insurance switch. They promised they'd handle the title transfer. "Don't worry about it," Dad said. "We'll take care of the paperwork." They never did. And now they were claiming I never paid in full and threatening to sell it. That's when I knew this wasn't about pain anymore. It was about retaliation. I called my brother back and told him thank you for the heads up. He sounded torn, like he didn't want to be in the middle. I didn't care. Let them keep the car, sell it, drive it into the river. I didn't want anything from them. I just wanted them out. But then I thought of Grandpa. He doesn't have a computer, barely uses his flip phone, still does his accounting by hand. But he knows this family. He knows every scheme, every cover-up, every fake apology. And the one thing he can't stand? Manipulation dressed as love. They live in his house, run their business out of his building. He saved them more times than I could count. And he didn't know any of this. So Friday morning I drove out to his place. Same creaky porch, same black coffee brewing. When he opened the door, he didn't say anything, just looked at me like he already knew. I told him everything. The voicemail, the 84 missed calls, the business collapse, the car. He didn't blink. He just stood up, walked down the hallway, and came back with a manila folder. Then he picked up the phone and called his lawyer. Major twist just hit. What would you have done after the car threat? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're hooked. This story is just getting started. Grandpa didn't raise his voice. Didn't curse, didn't even look surprised. He just gave the lawyer 2 instructions. 1. Draft a formal demand to transfer full title of the car into my name, effective immediately. 2. Put a temporary freeze on the lease for the shop my parents were renting from him. Then he hung up the phone like he'd just ordered lunch. He turned to me and said, "They've had too much rope. It's time they felt the drop." That Saturday, he invited them to his house. Noon sharp. He told them it was about the lease renewal. They showed up on time, of course. They always show up for power plays. Mom looked like she'd already been crying. Dad wore that fake calm mask he puts on when he thinks he's about to take back control. They walked in and saw me at the table. Mom flinched. Dad scanned the room like a chessboard. But Grandpa didn't waste time. He slid the first document across the table, the car title transfer. "You have 48 hours to sign this, or I report you for asset fraud." Dad opened his mouth. Grandpa raised a hand. "I'm not done." Then came the second paper. A formal notice pausing their lease. Not an eviction yet, just a warning. "You've used my name, my money, and my property to support this business. And you've exploited my granddaughter to keep it running. That stops now." Silence. Total, cold, chilling silence. Mom looked like she just swallowed glass. Dad leaned back, speechless. Then Grandpa said something that hit them like a punch to the ribs. "I've also been reconsidering what happens to this house, long term. After this little stunt, I'm not sure leaving it to people who cut their daughter off over ego is the right choice." Boom. Mom's face drained. Dad blinked. No one spoke. Then Grandpa looked at me and asked, "Do you want to say anything?" I stood up. I looked at both of them and said, "I wasn't here to rebuild a family. I was here to get what I paid for." And then I left. 2 hours later, the car title was transferred into my name. Official, permanent, legal. I picked up the new registration and plates that Monday morning. It should have ended there, but you know it didn't. Tuesday morning, my brother called again. "They're telling people you blackmailed Grandpa." I laughed, like really laughed. Tired, disgusted, free laughter. Apparently my mom was already on the phone with 2 aunts and a cousin, saying I manipulated Grandpa. Said I twisted the whole story and made him turn on them. Even claimed I pressured him into changing his will. Then my brother dropped the real bomb. "They're saying the car wasn't a sale, that it was a loan. That you never finished paying them." A loan. Even though I'd wired the money, had receipts, had text messages confirming the amount, they were rewriting history now. It wasn't about the car anymore. It was about control. About spinning the narrative. And here's the worst part. My brother didn't even sound outraged. He said, "Maybe just talk to them before it gets too far." That was the last time I answered his calls, so I did the only thing left. I called Grandpa, he didn't answer. Again, but when he called back he said, "They brought the car thing to me, said you were too emotional, said they didn't mean to hurt you, that they've only heard one side." I told them if they file even one document about that car, I'll list the shop building for sale. And if they even think about dragging you to court, I'll rewrite the house deed and give it to you. I didn't say anything. I didn't have to, he continued. "I'm tired of watching them chew through people. Your mom's been pulling this since she was 16. Your dad just does whatever lets him feel like a king. But I know who did the work. And I know who held this place together." The next day, my parents must have realized they couldn't win. Because that morning, I got an email from a generic Gmail address. It had a PDF attached, a mutual resolution agreement. It looked like someone copied it off a legal blog. They promised not to dispute the car ownership if I agreed to never discuss family matters with extended relatives and to stop telling dramatized retellings of private events. I almost choked on my coffee. Dramatized retellings. After weeks of voicemails, betrayal, and gaslighting, they were worried about their reputation. I forwarded the entire thing to Grandpa. He didn't respond right away. The next morning, he sent me something better. A photo of their lease names scratched out in black marker, a blank line underneath, a note on top in his handwriting, "They want war. Let them have the silence instead." That afternoon, they got official notice. The lease would end next quarter. 90 days. No eviction, just a silent expiration. They thought they could threaten me, smear me, twist the truth, but they forgot the one thing that always protected them before Grandpa's silence. And this time, he was the one writing the ending. Grandpa called me on a Thursday evening. He didn't sound mad. He didn't sound tired. He just sounded calm, calm like a man wrapping up loose ends. "You should come by this weekend," he said, "to collect the car title, and they'll be here." I didn't have to ask who they meant. He wasn't doing it for them. He was doing it for me so I could see it end with my own eyes. Saturday, 3:00 p.m. I pulled into the driveway I hadn't seen in over a month. The last time I parked there, I was still holding onto the fantasy that maybe family could be fixed if you just gave them enough grace. But that illusion had died. The front door was cracked open. I walked in without knocking. Grandpa was already in his old recliner. My parents sat side by side on the couch across from him like they were waiting for a sentence. Neither of them looked at me. He gestured toward the empty chair across from them. "Let's finish this." So I sat. Mom spoke first. Her voice was flat. No tears, no drama. "We're sorry." It didn't sound like remorse. It sounded like someone trying to check a box. Then Dad said, "Things got out of control. We didn't think you'd actually walk away like that." That was it. That was the truth I'd waited weeks to hear. They didn't believe I had it in me to leave. They thought I'd come crawling back like always. And now they were shocked. Not because they hurt me, but because I didn't come back for more. That was the real betrayal to them. Grandpa leaned forward and placed 2 documents on the table. One was the finalized car title, already in my name. The other was the notice confirming the end of their lease, effective in 60 days. He handed me the title, looked at them, and said, "If she had sued you, I would have backed her in court. But she didn't. She gave you a way out, and you tried to twist it again." They didn't argue. Then Grandpa dropped a final bomb. "I updated my will." He didn't say what changed. Didn't need to, just let the weight of it sit in the air. Mom went pale. Dad lowered his eyes. He turned to me and said, "You came to collect something. I think it's more than just a car." He was right. I came to collect the last piece of myself I'd left in that house, the belief that I needed their approval to matter. I folded the title into my bag and stood up. No dramatic goodbye, no one-liner, I just left. Mom stood up like she might stop me. I heard her whisper, "Pamela." I didn't turn around. I stepped outside, shut the door, and walked to my car. Got in, started it, drove away, not fast, not angry, done. It's been a few months now. I moved to a new apartment, different part of Springfield. Quieter, no history. No ghosts. The car sits in the lot outside. Still clean, still mine. There have been no calls, no letters, no let's talk ambushes, no sudden guilt gifts, just silence. And I'm thankful for it. The shop didn't survive. After the lease ended, they couldn't afford a new space. Did I celebrate? No, but I noted it and moved on. Grandpa comes by for dinner now every other Sunday. We talk about nothing serious. Work, the garden, the weather. We don't bring up them. And speaking of work, I took the systems I built for them, the software, the spreadsheets, the entire backend, and started helping other small businesses. One client turned into 2, then 5. Now I've got something steady. Quiet, honest, something that's mine. Sometimes when I'm driving, I glance at the dashboard and remember. They tried to take this from me. They lied, twisted, begged, and threatened. But in the end, I didn't scream. I didn't fight, I just walked away and let the silence bury them. They told me not to come to Thanksgiving, so I didn't, and I never went back. 7 months passed. No calls, no apologies. No, we've been thinking, emails. Just silence. That silence was louder than anything they ever said, and I liked it. Then one night, I ran into my cousin at the grocery store. She looked surprised to see me. We hugged, awkward light. Then she leaned in and said, "They told everyone you moved across the country." I blinked. "I live 15 minutes from Grandpa." She looked uncomfortable. "They said you vanished." That was the moment I realized something. They weren't just pretending I didn't exist anymore. They were rewriting me out of the family story entirely. Later that week, I stopped by Grandpa's. He was already on the porch sipping black coffee. He looked at me, nodded, and said, "They've been making calls." I asked, "To who?" "Old friends, cousins, people I haven't spoken to in years." Apparently, my parents were trying to rebuild their image by playing the long game. Spreading lies, whispering half-truths, turning silence into suspicion. They were painting me as the cold, bitter, ungrateful daughter, the one who turned on her own family. And Grandpa, they were saying he was being manipulated, that I'd twisted his mind, that I got to him when he was vulnerable. I didn't respond. But Grandpa did. A week later, he mailed out letters, not emails, not texts, letters. Typed on old-fashioned letterhead with his name and signature at the bottom. He sent them to every family member he still had an address for. In the letter, he laid it out plainly. He explained what happened, the Thanksgiving voicemail, the missed calls, the lies, the car, and at the end he wrote, "Pamela didn't walk away from family. Family walked away from her, and when they realized she was the one holding the walls up, it was already too late." Then he mailed me a copy. Handwritten note at the bottom, "Let them rewrite the story all they want. I'm still here, I know what happened, and I'm not letting them bury the truth." 2 weeks after the letters went out, I got an email from my dad, not from a burner. From his real account. Subject line, "Family healing." It was 4 paragraphs long. Not one sentence said "I'm sorry." It was full of vague spiritual cliches about moving forward, healing together, and coming back to the table. They wanted me to meet for dinner. One last chance to talk it through. I didn't reply. I sent the email to Grandpa instead. He read it, rolled his eyes, said, "They still think they can spin it." Then the final twist came. Grandpa got a letter of his own from a lawyer, their lawyer. Apparently my parents were trying to challenge the lease termination. Not sue, just enough legal pressure to delay the process. They wanted to stall, regroup, regain control. So Grandpa responded the only way he knew how. He sold the building. No warning, no second chance. He signed the deal the following week. New owners, new lease, new locks. My parents got 30 days to clear out. And the house. He changed the deed. He didn't leave it to me, but he rewrote the will so it couldn't be claimed by them. It would be donated to a veterans support center, a place where the silence in the walls would do good. And here's the final irony. I didn't do a thing. I never raised my voice, never threatened legal action, never posted online, never retaliated. I just stopped showing up. And that silence, it echoed, louder than screaming, stronger than begging. More honest than any apology they would have faked. These days, I work with real small business owners, people who care, people who listen. And every time I help someone file a tax form or fix an inventory glitch, I think about all the times I did it for free just to prove I was good enough. Now I charge for my time. And they're still paying the price for not valuing it when they had the chance. The car is still with me. It's clean, runs smooth. But every time I see the steering wheel, I remember, they tried to take it from me, everything. But they never thought I'd walk away and mean it. Thanks for sticking through to the end. Quick question for the comments. Have you ever cut someone off and had them regret it later? Drop your city below. I want to know where you're listening from. And if you loved this story, like, subscribe, and stick around. There are more stories just like this one coming your way.